Oh, it's so hard. So hard.
So
Um,
hard.
yeah, we wasted the good Russian video for nothing. Damn it.
Well, it was Matt. It was recording, right?
Yeah,
It
no,
was
it was
recording.
it was recording, so we'll
Okay.
have the whole thing that I can post later. But
Well,
anyways,
welcome, Burning Daylighters. If you want to hear the first 20 minutes, because our producer Chet really shit the bed today, please listen later.
yeah, it'll be available mañana. Um, yeah, what a couple of weeks we've had, you know? Like
What What have you been following, McKinley?
um, you know, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the background outside of the, you know, just the Donald Trump narrative, which has, you know, I mean, let's face it, like we as a country are addicted to Donald Trump. Like we have got a fucking problem.
Side note: total conspiracy theory. So, since it's been nothing but Mar-a-Lago the past couple
Uh-huh.
days, I took a break at work and I was reading the news and I looked for news on China and
Yeah.
Russia. Could not find any story of real interest. Nothing
Weird.
like really going on. Like China, the Chinese one was business related. The Russian one was the nuclear plant that keeps on. People are saying like are worried about, which was like a story a week ago.
Right.
So is the war still going on, or is it just like they're tired reporting about each of them bombing each other?
Yeah, and then there was a like because we're gonna dive into the Trump stuff, but there's a lot of other shit that's went on too. So, on the
Mr.
flip,
Pelosi,
right, I've got that article pulled up as well,
neat.
um, but one of the main things that I saw was a lady got car bombed in or just outside of Moscow, Russia, the other day.
Who was
Um,
it?
Well, it was the daughter of Alexander Dugin who all right, and he's kind of a strange fella. So, uh god damn you, Aaron. Gone again. Gone again. Anyway, we were Alexander Dugin who he is some sort of
Oh, sorry.
what would you call him, a philosopher? He's some
He's
he's
a
a
he's a
scholar.
I so it's I would equate it. So I've been watching World War II about how the inner circle came to be around Hitler,
Yeah.
and there was a guy who first discovered Hitler. He was a writer, basically a political philosophizer,
Yeah.
but almost like that. I almost think he's kind of like the he helps drive political philosophy in the current Russian state, we'll say,
Yeah.
and Putin
I
respects him.
yeah, I think like all of our media, like his connection to Putin is way overblown. Like they are like very familiar with each other and friendly and whatnot. But it's not like he's freaking Rasputin. Like a lot of people will say he's like Putin's Rasputin, and that's kind of far from the truth. Like there, he's a respected guy, and like his philosophy, which basically advocates for like the old Russian Empire, not so much the Soviet Empire, but like Catherine the Great Empire, and which is seems to be kind of in line with Putin's ideology, but also Putin kind of keeps him at arm's length too. Kind of like Steve Bannon is about the best person I can equate him to.
That evil troll. He spooks me, man. He fucking
Yeah,
spooks me.
he's fucking brilliant, but also he's a spooky dude. He's yeah, but that so his daughter gets assassinated.
And
This
isn't she
Alexander
some
Dugin.
commentator?
I think so. I haven't done a lot of um research into her in particular. I just know like that was either to send a message, or it was a botched assassination attempt on Dugin himself, from what I can tell. And so, like, I've looked at the response, and Ukraine almost immediately denied it.
Nothing.
Yeah, and Russia almost immediately found the culprit, who allegedly fled to Estonia, which is a NATO country. Um, yeah, it was supposedly a woman who was there with like her 12-year-old daughter or 12-year-old kid. I don't know, it was a daughter or son, whatever. Well, I don't know if we're allowed to differentiate anymore. Even I guess we just classify them as Russians because that's what we do nowadays. It's like we hate Russians, so
One of the
all Russians
Baltic,
bad.
one of the Baltic states.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess, but this is this is on the Ukrainian side, so we definitely cannot gender them, but they are definitely a hero.
Question:
Okay.
on the scale of conspiracy theory believability, because I feel like you're not quite to a PhD, but you're writing your master's dissertation, and it's looking good. Like you're going to get into conspiracy theory doctorate school.
Okay.
I heard, I can't remember where, but there was a conspiracy theory out there that the Russians basically led this whole thing as a reason to escalate and start throwing rockets in the middle of the city. How believable conspiracy theory on a scale of one to tinfoil hat? 10.
I would say, as far as believable goes,
Tinfoil. A 10 would be a tinfoil. Yep, I'm going to build a shelter.
believable, I would say it as a 10. Likely, likely.
I like the That's that's good.
So likeliness, I would give it about 6.8.
Wow.
I would say it's more likely than not,
Okay.
but I would give the Ukraine, NATO, U.S. alliance, particularly CIA,
Uh-huh.
those exact same ratings.
Wow, the French judge really just distributed some high marks right there.
No, I think it is equally likely that it was either perpetrated by us and Ukraine, and let go by Russia, or it was straight Russian propaganda. But remember when I said the CIA probably had a big hand in that, and then like 2 months later, they're like, "Oh yeah, it seems like the CIA and special forces have been helping the Ukrainians on the ground." Yeah, no shit, they've been there since 2008. So,
From America, Barack America.
yeah, from Brock America back when this whole deal kicked off, because it didn't just kick off this year. That's just when it really got shit got real serious, was this year. But
was that Kosovo? No, Clinton was Kosovo, right?
Yeah, Clinton
What
was
was the other incursion that we kind of
Georgia.
like? Georgia, that's what it was.
Yeah, because Chechnya was like right before W, I think, and Putin went fucking scorched earth on Chechnya, and it's starting to look like that might be what he's getting ready to do in Ukraine. Like it's been pretty brutal, but all things considered, like Russia's kind of been playing with kid gloves up to this point. Like, would you agree?
Yes. I have another conspiracy theory. I don't know how this one tied in. They basically said people besides Putin did the bombing to kill this guy so it would be less radical. I don't know. That one's a little lesser on that one.
I've also heard that and it's because for as bad as Putin is, like, he is not the most hardline guy in Russia. Like, there are plenty of people that are far to. I don't know whether you call him right or left, but they're far to the same side that he is, but way on the way past him.
Papa Putin's all about them rubles.
Yeah,
That's what it is. What is the equal to dollars and Benjamins? What rubles and what would it be? Lenin's.
it would
Lenin's.
be a Stalin note, or do they kind of like not like do they try to hide Stalin kind of like the Germans do with Hitler? Like
I I don't.
kind of. I
Well,
don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't think so because they're still Stalin statues, right?
That's true. Well, but also like Stalin, was the leader against the Nazis, and yeah, it was something like was it 20, 22, 26 million Russians died in World War II? Like
Yeah.
we had 600,000, and that was our
It's
great war. And
it's
yes,
the same. It's the same. We were talking about history repeating.
yeah.
We came to the conclusion Russians' war plan is just to throw as many bodies at a war as possible,
And
and to manufacture as much equipment as possible.
well, and if people want to talk about privilege, like we enjoyed tremendous privilege because
Yes, we do.
we got the Canadians on our northern border. They ain't doing shit. We got the Mexicans on our southern border. They at this point the cartel could probably mount a pretty decent invasion into like Southern California. I don't know if they could. There parts of South Texas they could hold for a little while until they ran out of water.
Uh-huh.
But all in all, their money comes from us because we buy all their fucking drugs.
We're so privileged. The top three things that are killing us are drugs that we want to use, or top two things are drugs we want to use, and really rich and salty foods.
Right.
Oh, and tobacco.
And tobacco. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's it.
Exactly. And so yeah, we got Canadians, which are essentially pacifists on the northern border, and
Which is amazing to watch soccer or hockey,
yeah,
and they just like to get in fist fights.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then the Mexicans on the southern border. I mean, like they're like, don't get me wrong, they could probably put up a good fight if we invaded Mexico. We'd probably have some hell to pay. But if they try to invade us, it wouldn't last very long. Wouldn't last very long. And then
Especially with all the guns along that border.
yeah, exactly. Like if you wanted to invade from somewhere, you'd want to invade from Canada.
Definitely.
But even so, like that whole northern border, like people got guns up there. Like, well, it's
Right.
so either way. And then we got oceans on the other side. So we're good on
That's
the invasion shit. Like
that's
shit
called winning the geography lotto.
yeah, like so we are very privileged when it comes to war because the only time we've fought for our survival was in 76 and 1812.
Not to mention all the resources that are held within this
Mm-hmm.
geology lotto.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about that, but what we are rapidly like boxing ourselves into is exactly what happened to the Soviet Union at their end. Like they went nuts out in Afghanistan, and we
Fucked with them.
leaked a bunch of weapons over there and drug that thing out. Might have kind of inflamed internal tensions a little bit too, but hindsight and whatnot.
Oh, that was a little bit of a fuck up.
Yeah, and and it turns out the guy that was kind of, really like the main leader of outside help. It turns out he was kind of a piece of shit. That kind of bit us in the ass later on. Took a little bit, but it really kind of bit us in the ass. But what we did was their economy was in bad shape already, and then they poured they sent. I think it was 500,000 troops into Afghanistan at one point.
500? I didn't know it was that much. Holy
Yeah, dude.
shit.
Dude, like they at our peak, I think we had 130 or 150,000 soldiers in Afghanistan.
Again, comparing Russians to everybody
Yeah.
else. You
Right.
just throw as many bodies and
Right.
equipment as you can.
Yeah. And
You
so this
can't-
one and this is one of those ones that didn't make sense because World War II and like the original point is like World War II, they were fighting for survival. We were not. Like we faced little to no external threats. Like Russia had the fucking Nazi army not knocking on their doorstep, but like pounding through the door and making a lot of progress.
wasn't the Battle of Stalingrad something like months?
It was almost a full year, I think.
It's something crazy.
Yeah, it was wild, and like I can't recommend. You have to go back and buy it now, but it's Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. Great history podcast. Um, but it's called Ghosts of the Ostfront, and they're talking about how like it looks like there's a bunch of snow on the ground, but it's just human bones, just from different battles on the Eastern Front, like Russian, German, all of it. Like they're I want to say it was like 2 million people died at Stalingrad alone.
Yeah.
2 million.
And before the siege took place, they had the population in Stalingrad put up these like giant perimeter defenses, like dirt going up like 20 feet and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they had the battle, but they also fucking slave labor to prepare the city to like die at be there until the last man was standing.
Right. Well, and then like when the first troops arrived there, like the first reinforcements, because I think originally there was just like a small detachment holding Stalingrad, and so then and of course it's Stalingrad because like every other good world leader, they're narcissistic as fuck. So when the city that's named after you is under threat, you're gonna pour everything in there.
That was such a fucking pissing match. That was the biggest pissing match of the war.
Yeah.
Hitler was his original plan was to go further down south to oil reserves, which he really needed for the war.
Right.
And instead he was like, nope, I'm going to take this fucking bitch ass town named after Stalin. And
right. Yeah. And in the meanwhile, instead of like using his Ukrainian counterparts to like go down in the southern part of Ukraine to the oil fields and take that, no, he just had him round up a bunch of Jews.
Question: is that the biggest pissing match in history?
It might be.
I
think
most petty pissing match in history.
It's one of them. I think this current deal between the FBI and Donald Trump might be the biggest one. Honestly, it might be because, and you know what? If it is truly just a pissing match over documents that don't mean anything, which I almost guarantee it is, I almost guarantee that at some level Trump broke the law, but it's so meaningless that it's like nowhere near the effort that they took to get it back. Like nowhere near that was required.
You know what? I don't like Trump. I'm on your side with there were some good things he did, but he's a total shady bitch.
Mm.
So if that were the case, and so not a Trump fan in the least, but don't you find it weird that they thought if they truly thought he had these super secret documents, why did it take him? Why would they negotiate with him for a little bit?
Right.
And then why would it take a couple months and then just go ahead and go in? Why did it take that long? Is it incompetency or somebody lying? I don't know.
Okay, so like yeah, so we've learned essentially nothing, but there's been a string of rumors and reasons as to why, and also a string of defenses.
Yeah, and the string of leaks, and then people wonder why the credibility of the FBI is being eroded. And I'm sorry, you can criticize the FBI without condoning any violence to the FBI. You can
Right.
separate those two fucking things. I'm sorry, you can't.
You know what? I could say I truly think the Federal Bureau of Investigation has lost all confidence from the American people, and I think it should be shut down. But I still don't advocate violence against them. I think they have lost all, like all trust, and they should cease to exist.
Were they just doomed from the start because the guy who started it was Edgar? It was
J.
Hoover.
Edgar. No,
J.
they because not only was it started by it wasn't started by J. Edgar
Oh
Hoover.
no,
J.
he
J.
brought
Edgar,
it to prominence.
he brought it to prominence, but it was started specifically to spy on anti-war protesters.
Well, nobody fucking likes hippies, Matt.
I know, but turns out when you get into wars needlessly, it has long-lasting side effects. You know, like really long-lasting ramifications and expensive ones.
Do you think that when you were doing your whole Man Bear protest, they got a call on you, but then they went down there and say, "Oh, this jackass is just fucking protesting something that's not even real."
Probably so. You know, like I know I'm on some sort of list because,
Why?
well, because like Facebook straight up tells me like I'm on a part of a list that just doesn't get shared with the public. Like they allow me to keep my account, but like people actively have to go look for me. Like,
Isn't that usually how it is, Matt?
Kinda, but if we've learned anything over the pandemic and the 2020 election is that the government and all these tech companies talk a lot more than we thought they did.
Like, wait. If you're on the list, am I on the list now? Because I associate with Jesus Christ.
Probably.
Thanks, Matt. This friendship, just the benefits keep on coming. Thanks, Matt.
It's like chlamydia or monkeypox.
Oh man,
gift that keeps on giving.
Like, when do I get rid of the burning sensation?
Oh, all right. Well, so let's wrap up the Trump stuff because, like I said, a lot has happened. So, all right, tell me where if I get anything wrong, let me know. But so essentially, they say it was for top secret documents, highly classified documents. A lot of these terms thrown around. They released the search warrant and supposedly the inventory list of what they confiscated. Turns out they confiscated a lot more that they didn't put on the official inventory list.
Even the New York Times had an article out today saying like this was all about January 6th.
Right.
Even the New York Times has said that.
And so then so they released that. Turns out the judge that signed off on it is a magistrate judge, which means he's appointed by another federal judge, like a circuit court judge. So he's not confirmed by the Senate like most like your typical federal judges. So he's a magistrate.
So on top of that, I have to do a side. So they're now Trump is asking another judge to have basically an impartial person.
Yeah, special master.
Special master.
Yeah.
Didn't he suggest somebody that he appointed? But yet he's talking about like transparent.
I don't know.
Nothing going on here.
Let's hold that because
okay.
So let's go through the whole timeline. So initially they raid it. And then, you know, there's a lot of talk in your typical, like, major media outlets about, well, it's not really a raid. No, it was a fucking raid. You sent 30 armed agents into his house. That's a raid. That is a fucking raid.
Like when the IRS comes after me because I didn't pay, I underpaid $10 on my tax returns.
Yeah.
That would be a raid on my house.
You just really hope you get the wheelchair guy. If wait, I'll have to find that here in a minute, but I'll let you go on a monologue here in a minute.
Wait, what wheelchair guy?
I'll have to find it, but like, we'll get to that because we got to wrap up on Trump first before we can move to the other stuff.
Dude, you
All right.
can't just throw something out like that.
Okay,
Fucking
well,
killed me.
all right. Well,
Okay, I'll keep on listening. Keep
all right. So
the
then
wheelchair guy.
Trump says this, of course, he's like, this is egregious. I don't know what his exact words were, but, it just, he reminded me of Ricky Bobby's dad getting kicked out of the Applebee's.
After I specifically said no onions on my steak.
Yeah, so I specifically said these documents are declassified. This is egregious. I was almost a veteran. I'm the president of the United States. I'm a diabetic.
I decriminalized the pick of my dick just to show burning daylight that I am able to have children. They're not test tube babies.
And yes, the carpet matches the drapes.
That's right. It's perm pressed with a little bit of sparkly. Okay.
But he pushes to release the search warrant and everything, and the Justice Department agrees to that, and the judge says, okay, we're releasing it, and so they released this list of the inventory that they seized allegedly, and then the next day Trump says, oh, by the way, they took my passports, and they're like, we didn't take your passports.
Nothing.
And then he has his lawyers produce a email in which an FBI agent says, "Hey, we have your passports here. They were excluded from our, inventory by our filter person or whatever, and they'll be available for your pickup in Washington D.C. Even though we confiscated them in Florida." You can pick them up at the D.C. field office.
After you're done with the timeline, I have a question about Trump and lawyer selection.
Oh, well, yeah, that's on the list at the wrap up.
Okay.
Because I have those same questions.
Okay. There's two theories I have behind it.
Yeah. So after the DOJ says we don't have your passports, they produce that letter, and the DOJ goes, oh, yeah, we got your passports. Well, we gave them back already. And like I said, they raided Mar-a-Lago. That's where they got the passports at. But they said they'll be available for pickup at your convenience at the D.C. field office. From South Florida to D.C.
Yeah. Was his lawyers like, it's a trap? They're gonna lure him to D.C., and then they'll just take him into the courthouse right there.
Right. Well, and the thing about it that really stinks, and it's not just about Trump, it's just the FBI and search warrants in general. The way they worded it, it was like, we need this, and this, because a search warrant is supposed to be specific.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, we need this, and this, and all other government-related documents or something like that. Which means that they can grab all the shit that they want, and then they have a filter team at the FBI building which sifts through it and decide which is actually pertains to the search warrant and which doesn't. Which is why Trump has been saying they planted shit. Like,
even
I don't know, but
okay. So even if the FBI is pristine, okay, and they didn't plant it. Couldn't you see it coming that Trump, no matter what, even if he just took what you needed, he would use that claim.
Right.
He would.
And okay, so this is where it gets crazy, because there was, and I think I maybe have this the link on this article, but the DOJ or the FBI released their press release that they chose to do it when President Trump was not at home because they thought it would lower the media profile. You're getting ready to conduct a raid on the former president of the United States by the FBI.
A couple months before election.
Yeah, before a midterm election. Also, the guy is the clear front runner to run against the sitting president.
Oh, are we doing this
If
again, people?
if you
Are
can
we? Please
remember
no.
back about 4 years when the whole Zelensky phone call centered around Trump asking the Ukrainians to investigate Joe Biden's link there. And they said, you can't do that because Joe Biden might run for president. What the fuck are we doing?
What are we doing?
Do people not remember shit? Like, I know my audience probably gets it, but like everybody else that was so anti-Trump and they thought that phone call was like gonna send him to jail for life. Do you not see that they're doing that in our own country as we speak? Like, I don't care what Trump had in there because it's obviously not that important. Otherwise, a big stink would have been raised about it, in February of 2021. Like a big stink. Like they would have made it public that he was holding shit. Yeah, I just like, what the fuck are we doing here? And
What
so,
are we doing? What
okay.
are we doing?
And so then let's go to the Trump defenses. So he says this is unjust and they're raiding my home, which is true. And
Here,
what you can be the judge of that. But they raided his home.
The raid adjective. Can we change it to something else? Like maybe spanking.
They spanked his home. they gave him some lashes.
Yes, they spoiled his home. No, yeah. They soiled his home.
They soiled Mar.
Okay.
They soiled Melania's wardrobe.
They soiled it and then they took it.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder, like, if we find out that, like, that's what we need to pay attention to when they release like the full inventory list, like how many G-strings from Melania were on there and were they sold? Because I guarantee you those were probably worth some money. People are into some weird shit.
All I'm picturing is an FBI dude going through a drawer and he hits the Melania fucking drawer and all he picks it up and he goes like I'm having pictures of basketball when they're looking through that girl's mom's drawer and they think the vibrator is hers, but in fact it's just her mom's.
Yeah, question.
Like they thought it was Melania's, but they found out it was Trump's later, that kind of shit.
Question.
Answer.
Do you think Mike Lindell would trade straight across MyPillow for a pair of soiled Melania panties?
Ooh,
or let me rephrase that: a pair of soiled Trump undergarments. Melania or Donald?
Clarification. Okay, Donald, no. Melania, yes.
See,
I'm
reasoning
leaning
the other way.
My reasoning is because I would think Melania's panties would probably cost more than Trump, and Lindell's company right now is probably as much as it's not worth it much right now because he's selling pillows for 50% here, fellas. Like he's hurting.
Maybe he might be like it's probably not good for business him being as involved in politics as he is.
No, it's not. You can tell he fried his brain on crack a long time ago.
But I will say he's marketing to the right base. Like he has found his customer base and they are loyal. So, I mean, he's probably getting by. But I think like the longer they hold on to this Stop the Steal stuff, man, it's got to be tough to keep it going because there's only so many MyPillows a fella can buy before this. Like I can't buy any more pillows, Mike. Like I've got 72 pillows. They all say Trump, but I got no room in my house anymore, Mike. Like
anytime you hear anybody say that the United States isn't the greatest country in the world, you bring up that only in this country could a former crackhead become a millionaire. a billionaire and have the president's ear by selling pillows.
That's
You
true.
tell them that.
Well,
They can't
and
argue. They can't argue. That's opportunity.
right. Well, and that'll tell you just how much $1 billion will get you.
Right.
That dude has essentially financed the entire Stop the Steal campaign
Yeah.
off of pillows. And
Pillows.
man, I couldn't have filed a single motion in court. I wouldn't have had the money. Burning Daylight would have not had the money to file a single lawsuit in court. Mike Lindell paid for all the Stop the Steal shit, and you're just like, that's a lot of fucking money, dude. Like $1 billion will get you a long ways.
Every time I see his commercials where he's selling the pillows with like scripture verses, and he's got the lion with the thorns, the crown of thorns on it. I just gotta think the Almighty's just kind of cringing at that, wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, but I think they probably cringed at all the the super evangelical Baptist types thinking that Trump was called by God to be president too. So
Don't you think the major cringe came when he found out they made a golden calf, even though there's a story in the Bible about how you shouldn't worship golden calves?
Okay, so let's talk about golden calves. All right, so I guess to wrap up the whole Trump deal, we don't know anything because everything that the media has been reporting as of late is typical of the past 5 years, where it's sources familiar with the situation or high-level intelligence officers who asked for anonymity. And so, yeah, they said nuclear codes. Now they're saying 700 pages of classified documents. And Trump filed a motion to have a... what's it called? It's called a special master to
Great name. Great name.
Great name. And so Thursday, the judge, who, by the way, used to work for the DOJ when they were prosecuting Epstein the first time. By the way, he was on that case. He was one of the prosecutors. And then he quit and went to work in the private sector and represented Epstein's pilot and a couple of his staffers or something, and they got immunity in exchange for testifying against Jeffrey Epstein, and then that guy got appointed by a federal judge to be a federal magistrate judge, who typically doesn't sign off on federal search warrants either. A magistrate judge doesn't.
No, they don't.
From what I understand, they don't typically do that. Anyway, so this judge is clear cut, straight shooter, it seems like. So Thursday, he's supposed to rule as to whether or not they are going to release the affidavit in full or parts redacted. The DOJ doesn't want to release it at all because they said it will jeopardize their case that they're building against Trump.
Watch the classified documents are just nude pics of Marilyn Monroe. Because Trump would totally take that shit.
And the nuclear secrets are just him posing next to a nuke.
Right.
Doing his classic Trump thumbs up.
He totally did Doctor Strangelove and just straddling one between his fucking legs.
Yeah, but he's doing the Trump thumbs up.
That's right.
And he kept that, even though technically it's classified information. He's like, no, I'm keeping that, which so would I. I would say, fuck you, I'm the president. I'm keeping this bitch.
Did the president just selfie the shit out of everything? Is that it's about?
You Garen goddamn T. I would take a selfie of myself boning the alien corpse,
maybe he took the video of him during January 6th, just going like this. You can't hear anything, but you definitely know it's like he's cheering on a foot
up the steps of the Capitol in a canoe, like George Washington crossing the Delaware.
Just stupid shit that would just destroy
because
even
he's
really
gonna sell that as campaign posters, and I would buy one. I
it's
would buy one.
like shit, the type of shit that probably not really detrimental, but would just destroy the respectability in the office. Whatever
Right.
was left after
Yeah.
Uncle President Corn Pop takes
Well,
is done.
yeah, exactly. And it's one of those. It's just like him being a bro. And then they're just like, you can't do that, Mr. President. He's like, fuck you, I'm the president. And
Eat shit, I'm doing it.
that's kind of what it feels like. This is turning out to be. And you know what? I just it just amazes me how quick the lefties are just like, the FBI is good. Love the FBI.
Yeah, when the fuck did that happen?
Right. And you're like, tell me one time in its entire existence that the FBI shared a strong acceptance by the vast majority of the American public.
So
Never.
never,
Never. They've never had a good reputation.
never.
Never once. And so like and these are the same people. By the way, like if we rewind, back to the Stone Ages of the Russiagate stuff, the people that like were on record conspiring against Trump, like the shit that they say Trump did, they actually did that, and it's on record. They lied. They fudged a secret warrant to be able to spy on his entire campaign. This is one I wanted to. I'm glad I remembered this because Jeff Sessions was easily Trump's worst appointment of his whole presidency. And I'm talking even if he wins again, his stupidest appointment was Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. That old fuck. They accused him of violating the Logan Act for having a conversation with a Russian diplomat at a Washington soiree, like where there was hundreds of sitting members of Congress and foreign diplomats in attendance, and they're like, oh, you talked to a Russian diplomat at this party and you didn't register it in, as you spoke to a foreign agent. And he goes, you know what? You're right. I'm going to recuse myself from this entire Russian investigation. And that led to the Mueller report. That led to the whole deal, which turns out was fucking bullshit because the FBI lied on the original warrant to start the entire investigation. But now, all of a sudden, we're supposed to believe that the FBI is acting in good faith. Give me a fucking break. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Speak.
Yeah, I can hear you.
God damn it. I fucked it up already. I'll come back in. You keep on rolling, Big Daddy.
Okay. Well, anyway, so Trump is saying that this is a big witch hunt, and it kind of looks like it might be. But also, it looks like he may have technically violated the Presidential Records Act. I don't know. But either way, I would bet really good money that
the FBI got me.
Yeah. I bet really good money whatever they found in Mar-a-Lago is not worth the media circus and the legal hassle, and also just like potentially ruining the Democratic platform in 2024. Like absolutely wrecking it.
On another level, God damn it, fucking Republicans. So on another level, like McConnell probably has some good polling. He always seems to know what's coming and what's not coming. Okay, he's got good polling. He basically the other day tapered off his expectations of how well Republicans are going to do. Where the fuck did Matt go? You there, Matt? Oh, everyone can see and hear me. Okay. Anyways, it's interesting that now polls have been tightened, and basically Republicans aren't going to be this huge red wave. It's more going to be like a Midsummer's Tide title coming in, and all because, and I believe it, the people who are winning the primary are not electable during the general election, which is a problem that campaigns have been having for years, and it continues. Did you get any of that, Matt?
Yeah, I got you. I was just
It,
letting you. I was letting you go. I heard the
oh,
whole
it's
thing.
it's the same shit. It was like it's the same shit we dealt with on campaign, where you have a primary. Ryan Fraser, quality dude, guy I work for, moderate, practical, just not petty, and we would have to battle these people who had no fucking shot, but somehow they would get enough votes to have a runoff primary, and we'd battle it out with them, and then the incumbent Ed Perlmutter would fucking just coast until the general, and he'd get so bloodied, and then Ryan would get there, and we'd just be so bloodied from the fucking crazy dude. Well, now the crazy dudes are winning these elections, and they're just like, even if you believe in a guy, you have to think practical. Is this guy going to win the general election? And you
Well,
just it's infuriating.
I know. And then on the flip side, though,
And
so like,
I get you don't want, and I totally get it with the crap that's gone on lately. I totally get the professional politician argument. I get that,
mm,
but there's got to be some good quality fucking professional. I used to hate when they call them professional politicians, because if they were really legit and good people, it was professional leaders. Very
yeah,
few of them, but yes. But I get that argument. But
mm,
still, like, this shit is chess, not checkers.
right.
Okay,
And
it's
and
not.
so like on that note, like McConnell was 100% right when he was talking about. And it pains me to agree with Mitch McConnell because Mitch McConnell's a fucking dinosaur
Get
turd.
give me some Mitch McConnell. Give me some.
Oh, well, we got to talk about the quality of candidates. Like, we can't win the Senate, and we got Herschel Walker out there. How many kids does he have? I don't know. And I hate to say that because he's what we used to call back in my day a nigra. And,
Oh, Jesus.
but we can't call them back anymore. And I just like where did all these kids come from? And who vetted this guy?
Easy, Mitch. Easy. Your lips are turning purple because you're not getting enough oxygen.
His eyes just keep sinking lower and lower, but it doesn't matter because his glasses and I can make fun of his glasses because Aaron can attest. I have got some thick fucking lenses,
You, they're
and
fucking primo.
it looks like Mitch's eyes are sunken in his head, but his glasses are so thick that they just magnify his eyeballs so they look normal size.
He looks like what I would expect somebody with the plague in the last 3 weeks would look like.
Um, Mitch McConnell he truly is like the swampiest of the swamp creature. He is very effective at what he does. He is not liked by anybody. I don't know how he gets elected. Um, but he he controls the Senate, and he's essentially trying to like cling on to control of the Republican Party. Like he's like I guess the last best hope against Trump just steamrolling the Republican Party. But it's basically done. I mean, he can hold out hope for a little bit, but he's also what 97.
Yeah,
um, but
him
his
and the rest of the skeleton crew of Jerry Nadler and
yeah.
Nancy Pelosi and
Mm-hmm.
fucking all the
Oh,
Leahy.
by the way, his wife was the Secretary of Transportation under Trump. So
Yeah,
if
what's
we want to talk about like the revolving door of just fucking Washington cronies, that's a cabinet member
you
that
mean Miss
Trump's
what's her name? Is it Cho?
Chow.
Miss
Chow.
Chow, yes.
Yeah.
So it's
She had to be confirmed by the Senate.
such a beard that she didn't even take Turtle's last name.
Yeah. And they're like people will give Biden shit about his ties to the Chinese Communist Party, which they should, but like look at Mitch McConnell and was it Elaine Chao. Look at their connections to companies over in China. Yeah, like it's all a big fucking mess, dude. Like these people are gross. Like all of them are fucking gross.
It's amazing how positive I feel after we have our little shows.
I didn't catch that.
It's amazing how I can keep a positive attitude just listening to our shows.
Oh, I know. Um,
See, that's why I don't want to become a libertarian or a conspiracy theorist, because it's just negative, negative, negative. You know. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So So McConnell basically he's pissed because Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker.
Shocker
That dude.
shocker to everybody. One of the top athletes in the world fucked a lot. Shocker.
How many kids does he have? Like just a ton of kids or what?
And a lot of them that he didn't claim, and
Oh,
he's
that's
also
fun.
like he's very much like doing a Trump, except he's not doing it well. Like for somehow like people just like forgot that Trump was divorced twice and married 3 times and banged
So
porn stars and shit. and
So there's a problem for selecting a guy to be a responsible leader when he can't even take responsible for spreading his seed.
yeah, I think that would be probably an accurate statement.
Is that the argument?
I think so. I think that's a pretty accurate statement. And then Dr. Oz, like that's one I
Like a
don't know.
doctor.
I might have to ask some people from Pennsylvania because I don't know so much on that guy, but
So I'll say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I assume anybody associated with Oprah, the Oprah TV show, is a clown.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fucking it was kind of a petty bullshit argument. You know how he went to the grocery store and was like, he was making a valid point that even he gathered all these vegetables and it was like 20 some bucks, and he caught a crudité, and everybody's making fun of him because he sounded like a hoity-toity. Like, yes, crudité sounds like a hoity-toity thing, but it's just vegetables. It's a mixture of vegetables. So don't bash on him for being elitist because he's using like sophisticated language.
Oh, I know. Like, how many fucking hillbillies I've heard say charcuterie board in the last 5 years? Like, give me a fucking break.
Oh, you elitists. You elitists, you cowboys.
Give me a fucking break.
On a side note, charcuterie boards are fucking fantastic, and I think our generation likes them because we grew up eating fucking Lunchables.
That makes sense. Lunchables, by the way, are like they're not great. They were awesome as a kid.
Oh, you shut your mouth.
No, like they taste awesome. Don't get me wrong, but like you're eating plastic and whatever else.
It's a weekly struggle for me not to just raid my children's Lunchables for school.
Oh,
it's a struggle.
I try to eat somewhat healthy. I got a problem with stopping by the little C store though and getting a Choco Taco, which they almost canceled. Turns out people made a big enough stink about the Choco Taco that they went ahead and brought it back. So
wait. Why were they making a stink about Choco Tacos? They're delicious.
No, they were going to cancel them.
Why were they going to cancel? Did Jill Biden slip or something?
No, the company was going to discontinue them. And
why? Like, what's? I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they were just going to not produce them anymore, and people are like, "What the fuck, dude?" And
I thought you meant somebody was going to cancel them because they were offended by Choco Tacos.
You know what? I think I may have solved American politics just in this moment.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to provide evidence right now, or I
Okay.
will provide evidence to my argument. But I think
The court will allow it.
um, we as Americans, being an enormously fat people, if we want to do this, do government right, we need to stop looking at these people like they are
Golden calves.
golden calves, but start looking at them like actual calves on our plates. Like let's put politics in the food category and figure out the best, because like you're gonna get the best shit. Like those Southerners, they'll tell you how we need to do shit with food. If we're talking about politics like it's food, all right. So and also the people have a powerful voice when it comes to food. Taco Bell, this is another example. They canceled the Mexican pizza. You know that? Like, it took it off the menu completely. And people bitched, and they brought it back and made it permanent.
So we just need enough people to start bitching about it.
Well, yeah, but and to get that, we've got to like start putting politics in terms of food.
Isn't that just democracy bitching until something gets changed?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a good solution, but like we're not like my solution's never gonna happen. So like I'll try to offer maybe possible solutions for this fucking nonsense that we're in right now. You
And
can't tell me
let's
that
be
any
honest.
of my ideas have been worse than what have been already implemented.
And let's be honest, you're definitely not the leader for this, because your track record on supporting causes is 0 for 1. Because I don't see a fucking person, one single person doing anything about Man Bear Pig.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen the environmental lobby? They are chasing ghosts everywhere they can find, dude.
I haven't heard anything, any bill that had battling Man Bear Pig. I've never heard that.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
if you just follow the allegory that South Park put out there, because Man Bear Pig was was a metaphor for climate change. I read an article the other day that blamed the childhood obesity rate on climate change because it's just too hot outside for the children to
So
play.
they stay in and eat. They
Yeah.
stay in and eat. I think it'd be more believable if they blamed it on the creation of video games than
Yes.
that line.
Yeah, but no, climate change is causing childhood obesity, and it's just too damn hot to play outside, and
And so they just eat and hang. They watch Price is Right all day.
I already I covered it on my last episode that I put out a little bit, but I thought you would enjoy this this little story. It's about UPS workers, and so and it's just it's a good story. Just a good way to wrap up the world today. And so UPS drivers, they got it bad. Around 8 p.m. on a hot Thursday.
How bad do they got?
Nicholas Gubel, Gubell. I'm gonna say Gubel. A driver for UPS was nearing the end of his route on Long Island when he started to feel woozy. That day, Mr. Gubel, 26 years old, had delivered about 200 packages. Temperatures had soared into the high 80s, and it was even hotter inside the metal shell of the back of the truck, where with each stop, he would spend up to a minute or so to retrieve his cargo, sweat beating on his skin.
Is it the same type of heat as us killing prairie dogs? Is it that type of heat? After we just had Nicapalooza and we're sweating our booze out, is it that type of heat?
Well,
and then getting shocked by a cattle fence? Is it that type of situation?
It turns out it's about 25 degrees cooler than that.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, and this guy's
Thank you.
He's in a moving vehicle for the majority of his day, And
And he's wearing shorts,
he's wearing
not jeans,
shorts.
but shorts. Okay.
Shorts. And if you've seen any UPS driver ever, even in the dead of the winter, they've got the door open.
Okay.
Because like, don't get me wrong, it is hot in those trucks. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
And so anyway, this is from like D News, which is like a pretty big news outlet out of New York. It's DNYU Z, I think, but it's supposed to be like D News. And
Oh, that's clever.
yeah, so like you go down farther in the article and they talk about how they say there's 350,000 UPS employees. Um, and then they talk about how there's been 2,500 cases of heat related illnesses. But all of a sudden, the whole article is nothing about anything but UPS and their work conditions until they throw the statistics about the number of heat related illnesses, which is like 2,508, I believe, is what they cited. But then all of a sudden they throw the U.S. Postal Service in. They say UPS and USPS combined.
Oh,
And so
clever.
I and I'm being very, very generous when I say I think the Postal Service is about double the workforce of UPS. It's probably more like 5 times the workforce of UPS. Like, I mean, the U.S. Postal Service is uh, a massive system when it comes to employees.
Like IRS, huge,
Yeah,
huge.
huge, huge. Um, and so then when you add that in, but if you just say they're double the size, that puts you like right at 1 million people and 2,500 cases of heat related. Like that's well less than 1%. Like it's nothing, nothing. And so then they include they include a statement from the union official, the International Association of Teamsters, and how this is egregious and whatnot. Like, and how they don't have air conditioners in their trucks. Well, how long have you been a union for UPS? Because
That should be probably number one on your wish list, I would think.
right, like, and I thought about it a lot, and I was like, you know what, that UPS truck has not changed a bit, aside from like the mechanics of it. But the design of it has been the same. Like there's been a different motor and transmission and everything, but like the actual box that is the truck has been the same since my
it's
entire life.
it's the same model for all those like 90s action movies when
Yeah.
the SWAT team comes. It's
Yeah.
that truck.
And like when they capture a bunch of FBI agents, at a protest, posing as a bunch of alt-right people, like they also show up in a like a UPS truck with the roll-up back, just like or like a U-Haul truck. Same thing as a UPS truck.
You know
But
what gave it away?
hmm,
Instead of UPS on the side, it said PUS.
exactly. Yep.
That's what gave it away. Yep.
Most likely. But it's like, okay, so now I see FedEx has like old school vans, like the 15 passenger vans that they delivers stuff in, or they
Probably.
apparently they have air conditioning in their trucks. We're like, isn't that the union's job to improve the conditions for the worker, right?
No, the union's job is to assassinate presidents.
Oh, damn it, you're right.
Oh,
God damn it, you're fucking right.
man.
You're
Was that a
fucking
deep
right.
cut?
Oh,
If
you know
the
what?
only true fans of history would get that joke.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna wrap on this post, and then let me go take a leak, and I know you got to get going here pretty quick, but I'll tell you a story I heard from Evan Hafer on his thoughts on the JFK assassination in the Patreon episode. So
Ooh.
yeah. So if you guys want to listen to that, patreon.com/burning or Spotify, and you can sign up for the paid episodes there. Spotify, by the way, if you listen to it on Spotify and you don't sign up, listen to it on Spotify because I get paid more if you listen to it on Spotify. So anyway, and it's pretty cool. Video episodes there too. So um, anyway, yeah, this whole deal just I did a whole episode called "Be a Man," and it was essentially based off of this fucking article. 80 degrees. 80 degrees. The other day, when it finally dipped down to 80 degrees for the high, I was like the happiest I'd been in several weeks.
Relief.
I was like, it is so nice outside right now. Like 80 degrees is fucking beautiful. And I understand that is a really hot truck and it has no air conditioning, but also you don't have to fucking work there.
I'm this whole time I'm picturing, I don't do it anymore. I could still do it, but I don't want to do it. Like the construction jobs I had, the prairie dog killing jobs we had, the summers where I was in Brighton and it was 110 degrees every day, killing mosquitoes
Yeah.
without air conditioning.
Well, and guess what? Like, people have done it for a lot longer than we've been around with a lot less, and they survived. I mean, granted, some of them died when it got real bad. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It can get way worse, and then there you do have to pay attention when conditions get real hot. But also,
Side
like,
question.
what the fuck is the union doing? Like, why are you paying dues and your union representative can't get you an air conditioned fucking delivery truck?
How old
Jesus
was the
Christ,
dude?
man.
How old was the dude?
26. 26.
Yeah, that's what kills me too.
I looked him up on social media too because I was curious. Because my first thought was like, how fucking fat was this guy? 80 degrees and you're having a fucking heat stroke? God damn, dude. Like,
Other side question: where was this located?
uh, New York. So he lived on Long Island. And don't
So
get me
it's not.
wrong,
It's
this time of year, New York is fucking miserable because it's real swampy and it gets
so
hot and it sucks. But guess what? People still live in New York City without air conditioning in that.
2 points. So this gentleman knows he's accustomed to the climate in summer. I'm guessing in New York City.
Yeah.
Second, it's not like he is. He just moved from the Yukon in Canada. He hasn't
Right.
been living on Antarctica for years and isn't accustomed to the climate. That right? Do I got that all
Yeah.
down? Mm-hmm.
We got a
Okay.
golden comment right here. So new Olympic sport. I'm gonna put it up on the screen because it's
Oh,
beautiful.
is it from Tim who says he always listens to the show? Is it from
Probably
Tim?
not. New Olympic sport. Strapped in a UPS truck for 5 minutes. You have to bust a nut before succumbing to heat stroke.
Done. Easy. Done.
Oh man. I don't know if I would win, but I definitely would not succumb to heat stroke. Like I would, but I bet you I would be on the medal stand.
You wouldn't succumb to heat stroke. You would just succumb.
Succumb to cum.
Succumb to the cum.
um, but yeah, it's just like, what the fuck, man? Like, and then I hear so many old dudes talk about how the kids just ain't like they used to be. Like, well, who fucking raised the kids? God damn, like it can't be
We
all
got
our
two.
fault. Like we learned it from somewhere, you fucking assholes.
We got too spoiled with being fed regularly.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, like we're the assholes because you didn't raise us right. I mean, I guess yeah. It turns out we they end up being assholes, but is it their fault? No, ain't their fault. So
Could,
I don't know. That always kind of it kind of grinds my gears when I hear a bunch of
I
old fucks talking about how shitty kids are nowadays, and you look at their kids and you're like, I mean, you didn't do any better. Fuck.
the the saltiest generation has to be the kids who were born between 1980 and like 1989,
Yeah.
where they're kind of millennials, but they're closer to Gen Z, and I just feel like, and they grew up in the 90s. We're the old soul generation smothered between just the pussy generations.
Yeah, well, like we grew up without the internet, but like we found it in high school, and like but most of us weren't like the early day internet nerds that did chat rooms and shit or message boards. We did LimeWire and bootleg porn.
We still appreciate porn because we remember a time when we didn't have very accessible porn.
You remember when we thought it'd be just a great idea to go to the porn store on College Avenue? Like
awkward as fuck.
As a group. Oh, that was the weirdest fucking thing.
Like we thought we'd go in there because we all love the cringeworthiness, and it was too much. You
know what? And it made us thankful because like there was dudes that had to go jerk off in a theater with a bunch of other dudes. We didn't have to do that. We did that willingly.
Didn't we go there on the idea that we were going to buy a certain somebody we know a pocket pussy?
I think so.
That might have been the situation.
Would that have been Mr. E? Mr. E?
that would be that hat trick ass bitch.
Yeah, it would be. And on that note, move your ass. We're burning daylight.
We're doing something. We're doing something.
We'll be right back.
Stupid. God damn it. Oh, God.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Just together, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.